Hi there, I'm Simon Canton,
And I'm Dave Higgins.
and in this video we're going to be outlining episode 6 of season 3 of Greenstar. We outline directly live on air, and you can see how we come up with our ideas and stuff. Obviously there'll be lots of spoilers for season 3 as we'll be discussing ideas for the whole season. So if you haven't read it yet, you might want to look away now. And we'll get straight into it. So I'll share my screen and go to the outline. So, as usual, I have like a rough outline that we can develop further. So at the end of the last episode, they'd all kind of gathered together in the clearing. And yeah, they'd all kind of got together. And then at the very end of the episode, Audley turned up. And Elijah thought that he'd imagined her somehow, but then realized that he hadn't. So Audley is now there along with all of the crew, and now they can actually get cracking with kind of trying to get out of the Land of Nod, which they think they can do through the hyperspace gun. So topics forward. Topic talks about Audley and Vesta are the cause of him being stuck as a human. Even if he doesn't want to kill the crew, Audley still deserves a place on his list. So Josie. Audley has arrived. Josie and the others talk to Audley and find out that Vesta demanded she send them there, which is pretty much true, although Audley wasn't exactly massively opposed to it. Audley left Burger Supreme soon after and has been conducting private research on hyperspace ever since. Josie tells Audley their theory on the hyperspace gun. Audley says that's interesting. She never even thought of creating a hyperspace portal out of hyperspace. They would need to alter the gun, though, otherwise they would just create a tunnel through normal space and back into hyperspace. I wasn't sure about that. So the gun seemed to create a hole into hyperspace, but was it a hole that came out somewhere back into normal space, or was it just a hole into hyperspace that someone would get lost in? Because Audley seemed to imply in the second season that hyperspace was like a fold of normal space. So therefore she would create infinitely folding in order for them to get stuck. Yeah. But she mentioned it like it was something that hadn't been done before. So then the gun, if the gun did that, it wouldn't make sense that it existed, and this was her genius idea. So I thought that the gun went into hyperspace but then came out somewhere. But if you're shooting someone somewhere, you don't really care where they come out.
Yeah.
So they would need to alter the gun in order to stay in normal space, otherwise they might just go out and then back in again. I don't know if it makes sense. It's kind of makey-uppy science, so
yeah,
really we can come up with any explanation, but I thought that kind of got around the problem.
Yeah, I can see where you're going with that. That makes sort of sense, yeah.
Okay. Josie says, first things first, they need to recover the gun. She makes a detector and uses it to locate the gun. It's over towards her town. Josie and the gang go there, leaving the created people in the bunker. Josie leaves Seth with Cram, who is Mark, a Mark duplicate who just reversed his name to become Cram, and Goatee, who is Elijah's duplicate, to mind. Anik also stays behind just because I was fed up with Anik. It was just like, okay, I get the joke. Like, she says stupid things. Everyone's realized who she is. She can stay behind. She's not important. But Wallaby and Audley insist on coming. Wallaby because he's actually decent in a fight, and Audley because she's the only other real person.
Yeah.
When they get near her, Josie's town, they can hear crump sounds, the same as Raina heard off from the plane. The space elevator cable above them shakes. Raina says they've heard that sound before from the bot army. I'm not sure what exactly is making the crump sound. I guess explosives of some kind. Josie and others creep to the edge of town and see wanton destruction ahead. Robots are firing rocket launchers at buildings and chasing clip cars. Josie looks at the detector and it still points into the town. Topic says they should just wait until the robots are done. Josie points out that they could well destroy the hyperspace gun in their efforts. Elijah says that they should make their way around the town, that way they can triangulate where the gun is. Josie agrees. They circle the town and get to the school, which is on fire. Oh, it should be under fire. There's a bit of a difference.
Yeah.
If they're going to go in there, it wouldn't make sense if it's on fire. It's under fire. Josie is furious, but there's so many bots they can't fight them. Raina asks why Elijah's virus wouldn't work. Elijah says it requires close proximity to work, and it was a once-off. Close as in like a few hundred meters, I guess.
Yep.
And it was a once-off. He's checked and they've already blocked it out. He can make a new one, but he'd need boosters to broadcast it to the town.
Yeah.
Elijah asks if they can wish for things that don't exist. Josie is unsure. Ballet's diamond car was pretty far-fetched.
This is true.
Huh?
This is true.
Elijah closes his eyes, and when he opens them, his hand has vanished. He lifts something and puts it over himself. He says he's made an invisibility cloak, a la Harry Potter and six and other things. The others all copy him, and soon they're all invisible. Josie says in that case she wants them to split into teams. Gina, Mark, and Raina are to go find people to evacuate. They can make more cloaks to do so. Oddly, Elijah and Ballet are to put boosters around the town and wipe out the bots with a virus. Doc, Wallaby, and Topic are to go somewhere to cause a distraction if needed. People can contact Topic through their handy talks. Topic threatens violence. Have you seen what happens when they use their handy talks?
Yeah.
You have. I thought it was a fun way to get around that. That they don't have handy talks, but they do, kind of, but they don't. Connor, Paul, and Josie will go find the gun. Gina, Mark, Ray, and Raina go to the school in their invisibility cloaks. There are bots trying to break in. Gina swings all three of them up onto the roof and enters through an upstairs window, just like she did on Plankton Station. She finds all the kids inside in a hall, along with the teachers. Gina starts making them invisibility cloaks, while Mark scouts out an escape route. Paul, meanwhile, tries to make a motivational speech, which I figured might be funny. Felipe turns up and counters each of Paul's points. The bots break in while Gina isn't done. There are a dozen kids and teachers left. Paul shoves Felipe out and shuts the door. When Felipe returns, he's smoldering. Gina finishes and they all escape. Felipe can probably point out that they could have just closed the door. Ballet is baffled by the conversation Oddly and Elijah are having. Lots of technobabble. Yeah. They're talking about wireless protocols. Ballet asks for a translation. Elijah says they need to get as high up as possible to affect as many robots as they can. Ballet asks if that means they're going up in the space elevator. Elijah says not in the space elevator, on it. Doc, Wallaby, and Topic find a tall office building and rig it with explosives. Doc works out the exact place to put the explosives to make the building collapse on itself. Topic says that Doc isn't acting like herself. Doc says, what does he mean? Topic reminds Doc of a time she acted particularly stupidly. Which one? I said. What could Doc... So Doc is monumentally stupid, so...
There's a time she got absolutely whacked on Delphan. What else has she done?
Well, do we want to mention something that's happened in the series, or do we want to mention something that she did before Josie turned up, or that happened off screen?
Off screen would be funny if we can find something that sounds like it could be several different things, and then Topic refers to it without explaining which option it is.
So, like, that time you changed your appearance to look like her, the one, and then you ended up with the guy that you didn't want to end up because you were after the other guy or something like that, or...
I don't know, I was thinking plenty more obscure like that, like the time you spent an entire month refusing to wear socks. Is that... So, not necessarily that example, that's a sort of something where you don't know what.
How about the time you thought noses had gone out of fashion?
Yeah, that's funny.
Doc says that was a little out of character. Topic asks to see the scrape on her side again. Doc reveals it. Topic examines the wound and asks why there are maggots crawling around inside it. Wallaby says it's a traditional Australian way to prevent infections. It was in my mind just because Game of Thrones game has them putting maggots in the wound, and I've seen before it actually works.
It does. They eat dead flesh, but not live flesh. So it's good at cleaning away necrosis.
Yeah. So it's a traditional Australian way to prevent infections. Topic says that actual magnets might do that, but these ones are blue. Doc says they should look at them under a microscope when they get back, but they need to rig more buildings first. Topic says that if they really wanted a distraction, he has a better one. So we're veering kind of close to Futurama, where what's the name, Fry gets the bad sandwich that makes him super intelligent. But I noticed that we'd been making, or at least I'd been writing Doc smarter and smarter as each episode went on, and I thought, well, maybe it's a funny way to kind of
she's turning into an all-action hero.
And then the question is whether, when she finds out what the maggots are doing, whether she's going to say, "I'll remove them" or not. The same as Fry had in Futurama. Whether you want to be the better person or whether you want to be your actual self. Anyway, but that's a future episode.
Yeah.
Josie, Paul, and Connor sneak into the town towards the direction of the gun. From what they can tell, the gun is somewhere near the space elevator. They walk down the road and see a large group of robots talking. Getting closer, they can hear it's an argument. One of the bots arguing is called Sylvester. The other is, in a very pun name, Andre Oid.
Yeah.
I don't know. We can change that.
That felt a little forced. I mean, I can see the joke, but and Sylvester Borg was funny, but Oid
isn't really a name.
Isn't really a name.
Yeah. It can still be called Andre though, but we can change it to something else.
Yeah.
Oh, it could be an Irish name. And Andre O.D.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be money. I'm not married to the idea.
The bots are created by Topic originally. So
yeah, the original ones.
Yeah, so their society is going to be based around. So clues and puns fit because Topic is essentially a supervillain. So his mind will stick in lots of clues so he can chortle later about how he's even put these clues in and people still haven't worked it out. So yeah, so bad puns would work.
But if we used the Irish thing, so it could be O or Mac or whatever, and then came up with a way of hiding Topic's name, so he could be son of Topic, essentially. Do you want to do that? Like that way, like whatever I'm terrible at Irish. Whatever the Irish for topic, like an actual conversational topic is, we could find out. Yeah, Irish?
Gaelic, probably. Or the Irish. Helpful Google will ignore what they call the language.
So, Andre Abar, with two vowels, it's kind of clunky. And yeah, again, like not particularly pushed about that idea either. Andre O.D. is okay. I don't think most people even notice. And the people that will groan. Or, as I say, we can just make up a random name. It doesn't have to be a pun at all.
According to Google Translate, it will be Mahabar rather than Abar.
It almost sounds, Abar sounds Middle Eastern more than Irish. Andre Macabar. That's fine by me. I don't know. Or no, masterpiece is clunky.
Does Andre might be a little bit odd then? I think.
Andrew,
yeah.
Andrew Macabre.
Yeah.
Okay. Called Andy, I guess. We don't have a long clunky name. Although that wouldn't make sense. No, not if he's in a position of authority. Then he'd probably say, "Call me Andrew." Okay. So Sylvester says they're wasting their time with the town. He has a detector that can tell them exactly where the real humans are.
Yeah.
Andrew says they're killing the real humans. Sylvester says those humans aren't real. Andrew says it triggers his reward center well enough. Sylvester holds up the detector up and twists the dial, telling them it will tell them where to look. Andrews takes it from Sylvester and points it, complaining that it's pointing to a spot just in front of them, and he can't see any humans, obviously pointing to Josie. Andrew orders Sylvester's arrest. He's about to break the detector, but Sylvester begs for it to be sent with him for the president to check. Andrew sighs and agrees. Josie, Paul, and Connor keep moving, breathing a sigh of relief. They come to a row of collapsed houses, and the detector is pointing under them. Paul asks how they're meant to get the gun out without attracting attention. An invisible excavator? Josie says they're going to need a distraction and puts her finger in her ear. Topic suddenly feels as if someone is talking straight into his brain. He cringes with his hands on his head and tells Doc and Wallaby that someone wants a distraction. Doc isn't sure Topic's plan is going to work, but she sets it in motion. What's Topic's plan? So I'm thinking something, rather than explosives, it's something that makes bots think that there's a lot of humans there or something, but not necessarily with humans, with real ones, because then Doc and Wallaby might not have agreed to it. So I was kind of thinking like a hologram or
lots of television sets tuned to Jeremy Kyle.
tuned to a chat show host.
Well, yeah, obviously. I think sort of bots think humans are stupid. So stupidity, we want sort of a morning talk show thing.
So it should be hidden behind a building or something, so they don't see it once that it's a trick.
Yeah.
Or if they made it mobile, if they had a little like remote control car kind of thing with a display stuck to the top of it that was yelling, then they could be driving it away from the bots all the time.
Yeah. Or if you wanted to be, what about some footage from Acoustics Championship? Is that funny on the talk show?
I thought it was one word, acoustics. Yeah. There wouldn't be much yelling there, I guess. It'd be okay. They're going up and they're putting their sticks over the bridge, and whereas I think the talk show, there's going to be more yelling and probably more chance for comedy as well.
Yeah.
Okay, topics plan. The robots are in the space elevator, streaming towards the distraction. Baole protests as to why he has to go up. Elijah says he needs to create the hack. Elijah needs to create the hack. Audley says she needs to fix the routers between Elijah and the signal. Baole grumbles. He goes into the space elevator building and gets in a carriage. Once it starts moving, he breaks out onto the roof and climbs out. He looks down at the town receding below him, and at 200 meters up, he climbs off to the cable itself. Baole hangs there for a moment, presumably with like some kind of suction cup / whatever.
Grapple thing, yeah.
Yeah. He hangs there for a moment and then creates a platform to stand on. Tries to ignore the height as he takes out the transmitter Audley gave him from a backpack or something.
Yeah.
Josie creates a digger to try clearing the rubble. She has to be careful not to destroy the gun. Connor helps by taking rubble and throwing it aside, searching with the detector. Paul is the lookout. Connor holds up the gun. He found it. Josie's digger stops working and she looks around. Andrew, and a few bots are looking at her. Josie asks what happened to Paul's lookout. Presumably they've taken off the invisibility cloaks in order to work. He has a bowl of ice cream and says he's on a break, I guess. Like, so maybe she took off. So she's obvious.
Well, she has to take. Well, even she's be sitting on a digger. So even if she's still invisible, the digger isn't. And
Connor as well is working, and she'd need to see where he is. Otherwise, she'd
hit him with the digger. Yeah. So Paul could be hidden, but
Paul could be hidden, but he could have his cloak pushed back so he can eat his ice cream.
Yeah.
So I should mention that at the start, so we don't. Paul has a good bowl of ice cream and says he's on a break. Josie climbs out of the digger. Andrew says they're going to bring them to the president along with the traitor. Topic's plan is going wrong. The bots have realized something is happening and are combing the area. So they presumably saw the screen on the remote control car and then started ignoring it. They're combing the area. There's so many that Topic has to dodge them. A bot stands on his invisibility cloak and pulls it off. The bots turn on Topic. Doc and Wallaby throw off their own cloaks and defend him. They're surrounded by bots. Elijah is trying to create a virus, but it's not working. No matter what route he tries, the bots have blocked it. They're AIs, and presumably they're fairly smart.
Yeah.
Once one virus got through, they blocked any kind of viruses getting through.
Yeah.
Audley tells him to hurry up, but Elijah says he doesn't think he can do it. Audley says he needs to stop. Elijah says he nearly has it. Audley says he needs to stop, and he looks up. Josie is standing nearby with bots holding her at gunpoint. Behind them, Doc, Wallaby, and Topic are also in chains. Andrew says he might just be the president's new favored advisor. So Audley and Elijah then have, if they have their cloaks on, maybe Andrew's using the detector now, or have they taken off their cloaks for some reason, or is he tracking the infiltration of the virus, perhaps?
Yeah. Well, they're talking.
Yeah, but they only talk. Audley only says stop because I'd say probably Andrew traced the infiltration of the virus, because
Yeah.
then he still doesn't know the detector's working.
Mm.
So Bailey is wondering when he can come down. He can barely make out the people below. He creates a virus to zoom in and sees Josie and the others are in trouble. Bailey wishes for something to rescue them with. What? Could he turn himself into a superhero like Iron Man? Or, Batman, or anyone who uses just technology to enhance their own powers rather than actually being a superhero themselves.
Yeah.
Like, if he has a flying robot suit, then he is essentially Iron Man. Unless he created like one of those Japanese mecha suit things from the manga stuff. The manga or is it anime? I forget. Like, where they're sitting in the head of the robot.
I know what you mean. Yes, it's a giant mecha robot or a small. Well, Iron Man and mecha are pretty much the same thing, only with a different plot line.
Yeah.
Iron Man is more all action. Some of the mecha things are a little bit more odd. What could he do that isn't a giant robot suit?
Giant. So, what would be a vehicle that you could make giant that would be funny? Yeah, there's the Aliens power loader suit was pretty cool. Without ripping it off, I'm just saying, like, if we had something that does that kind of job, that does a job that's like a postman or bin man or a sewage worker or something, where the power suit version of that would actually be pretty useful, but it would have some comedy value to the fact that it's designed to clear out drains or something.
That could be funny. I'm trying to think of anything that we've referred to in previous episodes that Bailey might think of as a really great hero. Is the only fictional hero we've referred to is fictional Josie, really.
Yeah.
So unless we do something very like sort of one of the mascots from something, I can't think of anything humorous we could do with Big Moo.
No.
What other funny technology? Because we've got all of the technology the aliens have come up with in previous episodes that potentially he could imagine.
Well, could he, going back to Burger Supreme, could he, as the job, he could imagine the power suit that someone who serves burgers in a Burger Supreme uses?
Oh, the burger flipper suit, yeah.
Yeah.
That could be funny.
So it's a suit that can flip burgers at the same time as it's working a cash register and serving customers. And
yeah, so it's going to have extra arms and things.
Yeah, I mean, it could have. Oh, with the. I'm thinking kind of a link to Hinduism, that it could have 8 arms and then.
8 arms doing things, and then we could have the battle where he keeps turning bots upside down using the flipper and so on.
Yeah.
And milkshake.
Has 8 arms, so 2 for burgers, burger flipping, I guess.
Yeah.
2 for customer service.
Maybe something for shaking milkshakes. Because something that shakes a lot, you could use that as a weapon, maybe.
Yeah.
2, 5.
One for that sprays soda.
Soda spray, yeah.
So there's 2 left. Ice cream shooter.
Yeah, ice cream's good. What else do they have?
Oh, apple pie that's so hot that no, we've had that. The chili was
We've had the nuclear chili, so melting something good.
And of course there's the McDonald's coffee that's also has the same reputation.
Oh no, I hate that story.
Didn't she sue or something? Anyway, doesn't matter.
It's a long and complex story that always gets collapsed to lawyers are assholes. And you actually read the original case, it all makes sense.
Oh, I know. It was like scaldingly hot, and it wasn't just a nuisance lawsuit. She was actually injured.
Yeah, they actually booby trapped her coffee. So the warning notice, this thing may be too hot to drink, isn't a stupid thing. It's because employees microwave the coffee wrong. Yeah. So no, we are not having that coffee for 2 reasons. Because I hate that story, and because we are not perverting coffee in any of my books.
How about one for like cleaning things? So like a general purpose cleaner.
Yeah, because they do wander around cleaning the table while you're still eating, from my brief experience of fast food restaurants.
Grand, okay. So when we get into the battle, we can come up with stuff.
Mate, yay!
Josie worked along by Andrew. They come to the edge of a forest and see a robot city. Josie hasn't seen the robot city yet, I believe. There are robots everywhere where it was abandoned before. Andrew warns the bots not to harm the humans as they're being taken to the president. Josie can't see a way out. They're taken to the pyramid building, but before they can go inside, Barley lands in front of them. Barley fights the bots, but is defeated after a long battle. So, with his arms, burger flipping, he can flip the bots over.
Turn bots upside down, yeah.
Customer service, he can, I guess he could kind of put them into a multiple choice system that they never get out of.
Well, they like paradoxes, though. So if you ask them if they want fries with their fries, they're going to enjoy that. I mean, what else do customer service arms do?
It could say things that are completely indecipherable, so the robots are just constantly asking what?
Yeah. There's some way you could take money in an aggressive fashion.
I mean, you can turn people upside down and shake the money out of their pockets. But
they were doing that with the burger flipping, really. What about giving them everything in pennies?
Yeah, it could shoot pennies.
Yeah.
Although that said, physical money will not exist in the future. Like Norway's getting to the stage where they're saying the banks are just going to be cash free. There's going to be no physical money at all. In Ireland, there's like 20% of shops don't even accept credit cards, whereas in Norway it's unheard of to even have physical money. But anyway, that's a complete aside. One for shaking milkshakes. So it could rip the heads off the bots by jerking them up and down until they pull free.
Well, or maybe just shaking them apart.
Spray soda could be sticky, I guess.
Yeah, soda, I mean, all of my friends who work in IT support hate fizzy drinks because they go in through the vents on the computer and then the computer goes wonky.
Mm.
And if it doesn't actually fry the circuit boards, then ants get in.
Yeah. So how about it's spraying unmixed soda, so the syrup stuff, and it's heated as well, so it's like extra sticky.
Hot sticky soda syrup, yeah.
Ice cream shooter can just block their visual pickups, I guess.
Mm.
And then cleaning things, and presumably it's got caustic soda and stuff like that. Or it could just polish bots until they gleam and then throw them out the other side.
Or leave smears across their eye sockets so they bump into things. Because it's not usually a great clean.
Yeah. But there are just too many to win against. So after a short battle.
Yeah.
He's also put in chains with the others. There's no one left to save them. Fluffy is watching the group from the top of the building across the square.
Yeah.
He thinks he needs to eat more if he's going to defeat all those bots.
Yeah.
Massive pile of cat food. So we've been showing that Fluffy's been getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So,
that little vignette did make me chuckle.
Josie is led through the building to the president's room. The president is sitting on a throne looking more like an emperor. The president is delighted with Andrew. Oops.
The rest is delighted with 2 for burger flip.
Yeah. We can change the name to 2 for burger flipping. The president's delighted with Andrew and promotes him. He chooses to deal with Sylvester first, having Sylvester ripped apart. I thought we needed kind of a visible threat. That Sylvester is being kind of the point of contact with the robot city.
Yeah.
That we don't want to remember the crew ripped apart, that this is kind of showing that this is serious. Josie is aghast. Are they really going to die at the hands of the bots? The bots want to take Topic next, but Josie volunteers. The president is delighted. They strap Josie into a chair and prepare sharp implements. Any particular form of torture, something horrible but funny. So I didn't know we could just go for regular torture, but I wondered whether the bots would have something they considered particularly bad. Like there was that spoon video. Have you seen the spoon video? The incredibly slow murder with the unbelievably...
the spoon killer. He follows him around just hitting him with a spoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was odd.
It was odd, but it got quite funny by the end. And then it got horrific after that. But obviously not copying that, but...
yeah, because there's the torture by piano from Barbarella.
Yeah, I also thought of that, yeah. But I don't think we want to go to like the Orgasmatron or whatever it was called.
No. So what? Well, I was trying to think what, because either we go with something that's horribly torturous for bots that wouldn't necessarily affect humans in the same way.
Mm.
So they set it all out, and Josie is horrified because she can't tell what they're doing. And then it turns out to be something that isn't actually that frightening to humans once they start doing it. What would be most torturous for bots? What does Topic really hate?
Being told stupid things.
They like paradoxes, but they don't like stupidity. They don't like.
Or having to do things like that. There's rules that they shackles and stuff they have to follow. They don't like that.
They don't like constraint. So, but how do you torture someone by making them follow rules?
Well, we could do. Could do the thing like in The Simpsons where do you want to vote for Bush or Gore? And then you try and press on Gore and it changes to Bush and then it chases you around the screen. That they give Josie a multiple choice question and then ignore whatever she says and say, no, it wasn't A, it was actually D. You're very stupid.
Yeah, that would work. They start wiring up the terminals and so on. And she thinks it's going to be a horrible torture. And then it's this idiot multiple choice thing.
It could be like a QI thing that she answers. So QI can be, Stephen Fry can be quite annoying sometimes on QI where he goes, how many moons does the Earth have? And then Alan will say 1. And then Stephen will go, actually, it's 2. that they could ask Josie something where the answer is something that we all assume is obvious. And then they say, well, scientifically, we can prove that you're wrong. And then it's just continual questions like that.
Yeah.
If they don't like being wrong, that would make them particularly wrong. Like rather than just saying, we're going to ignore that you said it's B and we're going to say A. If they kept proving her wrong over and over, they might assume that she'd be really irritated by that her data centers are wrong.
Yeah, that's better than just the answer changing after she's given it.
Okay, there's a crash from the door and a 4-meter high cat bursts in. 4 meters at the shoulder, that is, not 4 meters standing.
Yeah. Super fluffy.
Super fluffy. The cat fights the bots, and Raina uses the distraction to break out of her chains. Raina frees the others, and they wish weapons up for themselves. They fight the bots. Josie is freed too, and then fights the president. She defeats the president and takes back the gun. The president says there will always be more bots. They're unstoppable, with his dying gasp. Josie and the others run to the square and imagine an escape vehicle. I thought maybe something flying, so the bots then go, oh, why didn't we think of that? We should have something flying.
Yeah.
Mentioned that the bots were going to get flying stuff, and that was going to be the threat that meant that they had to leave, had to take them down. So like a shuttle or it could be like one of Vesta's shuttles for her Marines that's expanded. That's got space enough for everyone.
Yeah. It's a stretch shuttle with that. Yeah. So then we could do some wonderful Vietnam action later if we feel like it, or not.
So if Elijah imagines it,
yeah,
like it's a film premiere, so he's imagined a stretch shuttle with tinted windows and all the rest of it, and champagne in the back. They escape back to the clearing and then all thank Fluffy.
Yeah.
Topics afterward. Topic can't understand why everyone keeps saving him. First Doc and Wallaby, then Fluffy. After all he's done to try and kill them, they still want to save him. Which is kind of a part of Topic's turnaround on the idea of being human. Yeah. I don't know if we got it long enough. I mean, there's a bit there. We fell short on the last episode by a couple of thousand words.
It depends how long the fight scenes run, potentially.
Like, I think Ballet's fight scene should take a while.
Yeah, because at the moment, we've got people being surrounded by bots, and then they're captured straight away. So, given that in episode 3, 4, whatever, we've had them blowing away small groups of bots.
Like potentially Potentially the bit where they're helping Topic. Where was it? They're surrounded by bots, so that could then be a big battle.
Yeah. Yeah, could we come up with some way that the bots could defeat the being turned into flowers gun?
Oh yeah. If they had fertilizer armor, that the seeds land in this they're covered in bags of fertilizer essentially. The seeds land in the fertilizer and sprout. Essentially like a bulletproof jacket, but
yeah,
fertilizer. Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So they can defeat waves and waves of bots, and then bots turn up with fertilizer armor, and subdue the humans. I mean, they've been killing the other humans in the town, or have they? Do we want to say that they're subduing all the humans? To give a reason why our crew wouldn't be just shot.
Well, what would the bots want humans for?
Oh, just the president would torture them to death, essentially. But again, then we don't want 300 humans being taken to the robot city, because then we end up with all of them to be rescued. Unless we did a side bit where Josie and Connor and Paul save the hyperspace gun, and they're heading towards the edge of the city when they see a big cage with all of these humans, and they go to rescue the humans that have been captured in the city, and they rescue them, but at the same time get captured themselves. Which would then mean that we see that all the humans are being captured to be taken to the president, but now only Josie and the crew are left.
Yeah. That has potential.
Okay. So Connor holds up the gun. He found it. Josie's digger is fine. Josie asks what happened to Paul's lookout. He has a bowl of ice cream. That can still happen.
Yeah.
Josie climbs out of the digger. They make for the town. So if the robots are stunning humans, then presumably they got some kind of stun gun. So that's a tiny bit of extra stuff. They see a large cage of humans, take to the cage, throw off their cloaks, and shoot the bots guarding the cage to free the humans. They're about to run after them when they're shot with a stun gun of some kind. And then everything else is fine, I think, because now they're, we could say, Okay, Andrew approaches saying they've ruined his present for the president. That's a tongue twister. So they'll have to do. Okay. And then, as you say, we've got some fight scenes. I can see if I can fluff them up a bit. So, let's see. For episode 7, the bots are now flying. They can expand hyperspace gun. And they use it on the bot city is what's going to happen then. So the bot city is no more, but they're trapped. So how exactly can they get out of the bot city? So if things on the ship exist, then presumably the green burstium engine exists somewhere.
Yeah.
So is it possible for them to get to that and use it to infinitely decipher their way out of hyperspace? Or, oh, this may be a stupid idea, but I'll say it anyway. What if they come up with a way that they can switch places, so they can take normal space and put it into hyperspace, and take hyperspace and put it into normal space, and they stay stationary? So the effect is that they end up in normal space, and no one in normal space, everyone in normal space just noticed like a blip, but doesn't know what's happened. And no one knows that they're all now in hyperspace, essentially, and hyperspace has become normal space. Or is that too silly?
Isn't that going to result in a lot of people wishing for things?
Because no, I mean, all the rules of normal space, essentially they've done, so normal space is the same as it always was. There's no extra rules, there's no extra wishing or anything. It's all of the physics and all of the everything of normal space. It's as if they've gone back to normal space, but they've moved normal space across. So it's not going to affect anything in terms of what happens, other than they know they've moved everything. They've moved the entire universe. But no one else is aware of that fact, and it has no bearing on what will happen in the future at all. It's just a kind of a joke thing. Rather than them escaping, rather than them going to normal space, they've made normal space come to them. Or is that stupid? So, like, after that happens in episode 10 or whatever, we make it very clear that they then try and wish for things and nothing happens. And they say, oh, well, this is just normal space.
Yeah.
And Audley and Elijah can say, well, it is, but it's moved. And they can say, well, what's the difference? And they can say, well, I guess there is no difference. Essentially.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? Is that... Because I'm just trying to think of a way we can just make them, like, escape. I just thought maybe a twist on it to kind of...
Yeah, well, having Audley and Elijah claim that something's changed, that has no impact on anything. Quite funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Yeah, and then they have to go get Seth. But anyway, so they can say then they can find the green burst dimension as kind of their way out, and then say that so they can say that you can't unfold infinitely folded hyperspace. And then they think of the fact that they can cause everything in the universe on the other side to fold, but that would require a power source, the likes of which has never existed. And then they can wish a power source, the likes of which has never existed. Since hyperspace has those rules. And then before they do that, they have to recreate the Greenstar. So then that gives us quite a bit to do, in that they have to recreate the Greenstar, create a green burst dimension that can take all of that power that could potentially move an entire universe, and a power source that can move an entire universe. Yeah. I think that gives us a bunch of episodes to end the season.
Yeah.
Is there any fun in using the power of Paul's ego to power the green burst dimension, because that's large enough to move a universe?
Yeah. And potentially, the last episode, Paul is humble and caring.
Yeah. For about 10 minutes.
Yeah. Obviously, that sort of we pull the switch almost straight away, but.
So, if we said that, so episode 7 is going to be them defeating the robots.
Yeah.
Episode 8 is then presumably them struggling to come up with a way that they can get out of the land of Nod. They could keep imagining things and trying to come up with things, and nothing's working. And then Josie asks about the green burst dimension. And then 9 is them finding the green burst dimension and working out that they can't get out. And then saying, well, if we can't get out, how about everything else gets in? Yeah. And then 10 is them doing all of that and then going to find Seth. Unless we want 10 to be all about Seth and we can move everything else up.
But see how it runs to length. Yeah. Last season 2, we squished a couple of episodes together in the end to change the detail on some things, but can't feel an entire episode in Seth necessarily. No. There's a lot of searching. So in terms of the time they spend, it's quite big. But in terms of page time, most of that's going to be looking around, which is kind of boring. So it's not going to be chapter after chapter of them going somewhere and finding that they haven't found it yet.
And 9. So 10 could then be a Noah's Ark kind of thing, where they have to get everyone who's in the everyone who they want to save who's in the land of Nod aboard the Greenstar in order to save them, or do we want them to leave everyone in the land of Nod? Because there is potential in, if we do future episodes, in having 100 marks and extra, having goatee and Cram and all of the other characters that they've created be real.
Yeah.
And as well, we can still concentrate on the core crew, but now they've got an entire ship full of personnel. It might be quite funny as well to use the extra marks as red shirts. What is it, Alex? Okay, hang on a sec, love. So yeah, we can work that out when we get to episode 10. I'm talking to my co-author, and I am writing a book. Do you want to come and say hello?
No.
No, that's scary. My son is looking for water in the middle of the night. Well, middle of the night for him, not really the middle of the night. Do you want to say hello?
No.
No, you're just going to hide. I think we can probably end the meeting there since we've gone through the episode, and then I can go get him some water.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Grant, okay, thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.